1 month after the emergency council meeting, the Grand Council reception hall was prepared for visitors. The huge room sparkled with light from crystal chandeliers. Guards in formal uniforms stood at every door. Some men paced nervously near the main entrance. He had been chosen as the official greeter for the human delegation. "Stop pacing," said Jai-Ho, who had returned from Earth earlier. "You'll wear a hole in the floor." "I can't help it," some men replied. "This is historic." The first human delegation to visit council headquarters. High Counselor Tai approached them, his silver face tense. "Are we ready?" "Yes," some men said. "Their ship will dock in 10 minutes. Ta nodded. "Remember, we must appear confident. Don't show surprise at anything they do." But appearing confident would prove difficult. When the human ship arrived, it wasn't the simple transport vessel the Council had sent to Earth. Instead, a sleek silver craft unlike anything they had seen before glided into the docking bay. "What is that?" Ta whispered. Jai-Ho checked his scanner. "It's using a drive system I don't recognize. The energy signature is unusual." Council engineers watched in confusion as the ship settled gently onto the landing pad. It made almost no sound. No visible exhaust came from its engines. The ship's door opened, and 3 humans walked out. In the center was Ambassador Han, a woman with short black hair and a confident smile. To her left walked Dr. Kim, who had first helped the crashed alien crew. On the right was Jin, the engineer who had repaired their ship. Some men stepped forward and bowed slightly. "Welcome to the Galactic Council headquarters. I am Junior Counselor Sung Min." Ambassador Han returned the bow. "Thank you for your invitation. Earth is honored to join the galactic community." As they walked toward the reception hall, Ta couldn't help asking about their ship. "Your vessel," he said carefully. "It's not the one we sent." Ambassador Han smiled. "No, we thought it would be better to arrive in our own ship. It's our newest prototype using gravity manipulation drive." Jai-Ho nearly stumbled. "Gravity manipulation? That's theoretical technology. Our scientists have tried for centuries." Jin nodded politely. "We solved the field stability issues 5 years ago. Would you like to see the engine room later?" Tai and Ji-Ho exchanged worried looks. In the reception hall, more surprises waited. Dr. Kim casually used a small device to translate all council languages instantly. Jin showed council engineers schematics for technologies they had never imagined. Ambassador Han discussed human history and science with a depth that stunned the council members. During a quiet moment, some men approached Dr. Kim. "I argued against classifying humans as primitive," he admitted, "but even I didn't realize how advanced you really are." Dr. Kim smiled. "We're not advanced in all ways. We still make many mistakes. We fight wars. We damage our environment. Yet you've solved problems that have puzzled us for generations," some men said. "We think differently," Dr. Kim explained. "We don't follow the same paths of development as other species might." Across the room, Tai was speaking urgently with his advisors. "This changes everything," he whispered. "If humans can develop gravity manipulation drives independently, what else might they discover? They could surpass us within a few decades." "What do we do?" an advisor asked. Tai looked at the humans, who were now drawing a crowd of fascinated council members. "We have no choice," Ta said finally. "We must vote to reclassify humans immediately, and we must consider offering them full council membership." The advisor gasped. "No primitive species has ever jumped to full membership. The rules." "The rules," Tai interrupted, "were wrong about humans. And I fear what might happen if we don't make them our allies very, very quickly." The grand chamber of the Galactic Council glowed with soft blue light. Tall windows showed the stars and 3 moons outside. 50 aliens from different worlds sat at curved desks that formed a circle. High Counselor Ta stood at the center. He was tall with silver skin that reflected the blue lights. His 4 eyes blinked in sequence as he spoke. "We now move to item 17 on today's agenda. The classification of species 4723b, known locally as humans from the planet called Earth. Tay's voice echoed in the quiet room. This was routine work for the Council. They found new species all the time. They watched them, studied them, and decided if they were ready to join the galactic community. Jai-Ho, the lead xenobiologist, stepped forward. His datapad glowed as he touched it. A large image of Earth appeared above them, slowly spinning. Esteemed council members, Jai-Ho began, his voice calm and measured. My team has studied Earth for 50 cycles. The dominant species, humans, have achieved basic space travel but remain confined to their home system. Jai-Ho touched his pad again. Images flashed above. Humans in primitive spacesuits, basic rocket ships, and simple space stations. They burn fossil fuels, Jai-Ho continued. They fight wars over resources. Their global communication network is primitive and insecure. Their medical technology is still combating basic diseases. Several council members shook their heads. One made a sound like quiet laughter. Based on standard metrics, Jai-Ho said, I recommend classification as Class D, primitive/pre-FTL. This means no contact for at least 200 years. High Counselor Ta nodded. Thank you, Jai-Ho. The council will now vote. Green lights began to appear on the voting board. The decision seemed clear. Humans would be labeled as primitive and left alone to develop or destroy themselves, without outside interference. But then a young voice spoke up from the junior members section. I have a question. All eyes turned to Sungmin. He was new to the council, the youngest member ever appointed. His homeworld was famous for its libraries and universities. Speak, junior counselor, Ta said, not hiding his annoyance at the interruption. Sungmin stood. He was shorter than most, with deep blue skin and large eyes that blinked nervously. The classification metrics focus on technological advancement, Sungmin said. But my analysis of human cultural transmission shows unusual patterns. Jai-Ho frowned. What do you mean? Humans advance differently than other species, Sungmin explained. They make unusual leaps. They solve problems in ways we don't expect. An older counselor named Bach laughed. They haven't even figured out faster than light travel. Some of us mastered that before we invented writing. Others joined the laughter. Sungmin's face darkened to purple with embarrassment. But their art, their music, their stories. Sungmin tried again. Are primitive and simple. Todd cut him off. Your interest in lesser species is noted, junior counselor. But we have procedures for a reason. Tay turned to the rest of the council. All in favor of Class D classification. Green lights lit up across the board. Only Sungmin's light remained red. The vote is final, Tay announced. Species 4723b, humans, are classified as primitive. No contact will be initiated. Standard monitoring protocols will continue. Jai-Ho closed his datapad with a satisfied nod. The matter was settled. As the council moved to the next item on their agenda, no one noticed Sungmin quietly downloading the complete human file to his personal device. No one saw the doubt in his eyes. And no one in that grand chamber, with all their advanced technology and ancient wisdom, could possibly imagine how quickly their decision would come back to haunt them. The official meetings between humans and the council continued for 3 days, but it wasn't just technology that surprised the council members. Human culture proved just as shocking. Jun, a young assistant to High Counselor Tai, was assigned to show Dr. Kim the council archives. The huge library held knowledge from thousands of worlds. This is amazing, Dr. Kim said, looking at the endless rows of data crystals. So much knowledge in one place. Jun nodded proudly. The archives contained everything important from every council world. What would you like to see first? Our greatest scientific achievements. Our historical records. I'd love to see your art and music, Dr. Kim replied. Jun seemed confused. Art and music. Those are entertainment. Most species only develop complex art after achieving technological mastery. Dr. Kim smiled. On Earth, art and science have always grown together. Our cave paintings are as old as our first tools. Jun led Dr. Kim to a small section of the archives, labeled Cultural Records. It was tiny compared to the scientific and technical sections. "This is all?" Dr. Kim asked. "Most council species focus on practical knowledge," Jun explained. "Art is considered less important." Dr. Kim pulled out a small device and placed it on the table. She touched it, and soft music filled the room. The sounds were unlike anything Jun had heard before, complex, emotional, and somehow both sad and beautiful at the same time. "What is this?" Jun asked, his eyes wide. "This is called jazz," Dr. Kim explained. "It was created by humans who were once slaves, finding freedom through music." Jun listened, entranced. It makes me feel things I cannot describe." "That's what good art does," Dr. Kim said. In another part of the council building, Ambassador Han met with Sue, the council's military advisor. Sue was tall and muscular, with dark green skin and sharp eyes. "I studied your species' conflicts," Sue said bluntly. "Humans fight wars constantly throughout your history." Han nodded. "Yes, it's not something we're proud of. Yet you've survived," Sue continued. "Most species with your level of weaponry destroy themselves, but humans adapt. You learn from your mistakes." "Not always quickly enough," Han admitted. Sue leaned forward. "Your adaptability is concerning. In just 1 century, you went from simple flight to space travel. Your weapons evolved from basic explosives to nuclear bombs. Are you afraid of us?" Ambassador Han asked directly. Sue didn't blink. A wise species fears what it does not understand. And humans are difficult to understand. Meanwhile, in the engineering section, Jin was showing council technicians how human problem-solving worked. "You approach every problem the same way," Jin explained. "You look for the most efficient, logical solution." The lead council engineer nodded. "Of course, efficiency is everything." Jin shook his head. "Humans try many approaches. We look for crazy ideas, impossible solutions. We fail a lot, but sometimes you find answers we would never consider," the engineer finished. That evening, all council members and human visitors gathered for a formal dinner. The mood was tense but excited. Sung Min sat beside Jun, who couldn't stop talking about human music. "You should see Jun's personal quarters now," Sung Min whispered to Dr. Kim. "He's downloaded every piece of human music he could find. He keeps playing something called blues over and over." Dr. Kim laughed. "Music is just the beginning. Wait until he discovers human literature and film." Across the room, High Counselor Ta watched the humans with growing concern. They weren't just technologically advanced in unexpected ways. Their culture, their way of thinking, their approach to problems, everything about them was unpredictable. And in a council that valued order and predictability above all, humans were becoming more dangerous by the hour. "We need to vote on their status," Ta whispered to his advisors. "Tomorrow, before they share any more of their ideas with our people." Little did he know, it was already too late. Late that night, Jun sat alone in the archives. His new love of human music had led him to wonder. Had the council ever met other species with rich artistic traditions? He searched through ancient records, going back thousands of years. What he found made his blood run cold. When Dr. Kim entered the archives the next morning, she found Jun still there, his eyes red from lack of sleep. "Jun, are you okay?" she asked. Jun looked up, his face troubled. "I found something. Something bad." He showed her his data pad. On it was an image of aliens that looked somewhat like humans. 2 arms, 2 legs, similar faces, but they had blue skin and 6 fingers on each hand. "The Nari," Jun explained. "They lived 3,000 years ago. The records say they were remarkably creative. They made beautiful art, had unique technology, and solved problems in unusual ways. Dr. Kim studied the image. They sound a lot like humans. Yes, Jun whispered. And the council destroyed them. Dr. Kim's eyes widened. What? Jun opened more files. The Nari were classified as unpredictable and potentially dangerous because they developed technologies in unusual patterns, just like humans. The council decided to contain them. How? Dr. Kim asked, though she feared the answer. Trade restrictions, technology bans, isolation from other species. Jun's voice shook. The Nari fought back at first. Then they slowly declined. Within 500 years, they were gone. Their planet is empty now. Dr. Kim sat down heavily. And the council did this deliberately. Not all the council, Jun said, but the ruling faction back then, yes. We need to tell Ambassador Han, Dr. Kim said. Later that day, in the human delegation's private quarters, Ambassador Han listened to Jun's discovery with a calm that surprised him. You're not shocked? Jun asked. Sadly, no, Han replied. Powerful groups often fear what they don't understand. It's happened throughout human history too. But this could happen to humans. Jun said urgently. Some council members still want to contain you. Councillor Bach has been meeting with others who voted against your reclassification. Han nodded. Thank you for this warning. Jun, you've taken a great risk by telling us. What will you do? Jun asked. What humans always do when faced with a threat, Han said. Adapt. At that moment, High Councillor Tai was in his private office with Councillor Bach and several others. The vote is done, Ta said firmly. Humans are now Class A. That can be changed, Bach argued. Once they leave, we can implement subtle restrictions, slow them down. It worked before with the Nari. You think I don't know about the Nari? Ta said sharply. That was the council's greatest shame. The door suddenly opened. Ambassador Han walked in with Dr. Kim and Jun. High Councillor, Han said, we need to talk about the Nari. Tae's face showed shock. He looked at Jun, who stood tall despite his fear. You told them? Tai asked Jun. He did the right thing, Dr. Kim said. Unlike your ancestors. Ta sighed deeply. What do you want? The truth, Han said simply. And a guarantee it won't happen again. To anyone. Councillor Bach stood up angrily. This is outrageous. This junior aide has committed treason. No, came a new voice. Sung Min entered the room. Jun has prevented treason. Our founding principles call for peace and cooperation, not suppression and extinction. The room fell silent. Ta looked from Jun to the humans, then finally to Bach and his supporters. Ambassador Han is right, Ta said finally. It's time for the truth. All of it. Bach stormed toward the door. This isn't over. Actually, Han said calmly, I think it is. But what comes next might surprise you. 3 days after the crash, Captain Hyun stood in the human research station watching his crew recover. The humans had given them warm rooms, food, and medical care. Despite his fears, the humans had been kind. Dr. Kim entered the room with a tablet in her hand. Your crew members are healing well, she said with a smile. Hyun nodded stiffly. We appreciate your help, but we need to repair our ship and leave as soon as possible. About that, Dr. Kim said, we've been looking at your ship. The damage is bad, but we might be able to help. Hyun frowned. Impossible. Your technology is too primitive to understand our systems. Dr. Kim didn't seem offended. Maybe, but we'd like to try anyway. Would you allow our engineer to look? Reluctantly, Hyun agreed. What choice did he have? Later that day, Hyun, Dr. Kim, and the ship's engineer Jin walked through the snow to the crashed ship. Inside, the damage looked worse in the daylight. The quantum drive core was a mess of twisted metal and broken crystals. Jin studied it with bright, curious eyes. Interesting design, he said. The energy flow is similar to some of our experimental systems. Hyun blinked in surprise. You have quantum technology. Of course, Dr. Kim replied. It's still new, but we've made good progress. Jin pointed to a broken part. This connector is completely destroyed, but I think we can build a replacement using materials from our station. Hyun shook his head. Impossible. Those connectors use special metals not found on your planet. Jin smiled. Let me show you something. Back at the station, Jin led them to his workshop. He pulled out a small device from his desk. This is our quantum entanglement communicator, Jin explained. We use it to talk instantly with our other research stations around the world. Hyun's 4 crew members who had come to watch gasped in shock. Jae-ho, the xenobiologist, stepped forward with wide eyes. May I scan this? Jae-ho asked, holding up his data device. Dr. Kim nodded. Jae-ho scanned the human device, then stared at the results in disbelief. This is impossible, Jae-ho whispered. The council races tried for centuries to perfect quantum entanglement communication. We never succeeded. Dr. Kim looked surprised. Really? We've had working prototypes for about 10 years now. Hyun and his crew exchanged worried looks. Over the next 2 days, more surprises came. Jin and his team built replacement parts for the alien ship using Earth materials. When tested, these parts worked better than the originals. Jae-ho secretly recorded everything. The humans had solved problems in ways the council races had never considered. They took different paths to the same technological goals. On the 5th day, Jin showed them his biggest achievement, a rebuilt quantum stabilizer for their drive. It's not exactly like yours, Jin explained. I changed some things to make it more efficient. Hyun tested the device. It worked perfectly, better than the original. That night, Hyun called his crew together in their private room. This changes everything, Hyun said quietly. The council was wrong about humans. Jae-ho nodded, looking at his data. They should be at least Class B, maybe even Class A. Their approach to technology is unique. What do we do? Asked one crew member. We must report this to the council, Hyun decided. But first, we need to learn more. Unknown to them, Dr. Kim stood outside the door, hearing their conversation through the thin wall. She didn't understand everything, but she understood enough. These aliens had thought humans were primitive, and now they were surprised. She smiled to herself and walked away. Tomorrow, she would show them the research lab and really give them something to be surprised about. The next day, the full council gathered for an emergency session. The news about the Nari had spread quickly. Many council members were shocked and ashamed. Others defended the past actions as necessary. High Counselor Taig opened the session. Today we face a crucial choice about our future. Ambassador Han has asked to address us. Ambassador Han walked to the center of the chamber. All eyes followed her. The room fell silent. Honored Council, Han began. Yesterday we learned that your classification system has led to tragedy before. The Nari were feared because they were different. They were contained, isolated, and eventually died out. Several council members looked down in shame. You might expect humans to respond with anger, Han continued. To threaten or demand, that would be understandable. She paused, looking around the room. But humans have learned through our own painful history that fear and division lead nowhere good. So instead, I propose something different, a complete restructuring of the Galactic Council system. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Tai leaned forward with interest. Your entire classification system, Han explained, is built on fear rather than cooperation. It assumes that different means dangerous. It values predictable progress over creative leaps. Jin stepped forward, carrying a data device. If I may, Jin said, I'd like to show you something. He activated the device. A hologram appeared showing a complex energy system. This is a design that combines Council standard technology with human approaches, Jin explained. It could solve the power problems on 17 Council worlds. And it's just the beginning. Dr. Kim joined them. Human and council scientists working together could accomplish far more than either working alone. Our differences are our strength, not our weakness. Counselor Bach stood up. Pretty words, but humans remain unpredictable, potentially dangerous. All progress is dangerous, Han replied calmly. But standing still is fatal. Some men move to the center to stand beside the humans. I propose we replace our classification system with collaborative development tracks. No more judging species as primitive or advanced, but instead working together based on shared interests and complementary abilities. Tai studied the proposal on his screen. You suggest a galactic cooperative instead of a council. Yes, Han said, where differences are celebrated, not feared. The debate lasted for hours. Some council members resisted strongly. Others embraced the idea immediately. Through it all, Ambassador Han remained patient and firm. Finally, Tai called for a vote. Those in favor of restructuring into a galactic cooperative with humans as founding members. The voting board lit up. Green lights slowly outnumbered red. The final count was close, but the motion passed. A new era begins today, Tai announced. 3 months later, the first Joint Human Council research team unveiled breakthrough technology that solved a centuries-old problem with interstellar communication. It was just the first of many successes. On the newly renamed Cooperative Central Station, Sung Min and Jun prepared for their first trip to Earth as official liaisons. Are you nervous? Sung Min asked. Yes, Jun admitted. Earth sounds so unpredictable. That's what makes it exciting. Sung Min replied with a smile. Dr. Kim joined them at the ship's entrance. Ready for your adventure? Jun nodded, carrying with him a collection of music from 100 worlds. I still can't believe the council, the cooperative, approved my cultural exchange program so quickly. People learn from their mistakes, Dr. Kim said, even council members. As their ship departed for Earth, carrying the first of many delegations, the stars seemed somehow brighter. The galaxy had been changed forever by a simple error in classification, and the unexpected wisdom that followed. Humans, it turned out, weren't primitive at all. They were exactly what the galaxy needed. The next morning, all 50 council members gathered for the emergency classification session. The human delegation waited in a separate room. The vote today would decide their future in the galactic community. High Counselor Ta called the meeting to order. We are here to reconsider the classification of humans. Given recent discoveries, their Class D status is clearly incorrect. The chamber was unusually quiet. Every member felt the weight of this decision. Before we vote, Ta continued, xenobiologist Jaiho will present his updated analysis. Jaiho stepped to the center circle, his data pad projecting images above him. My original assessment of humans was based on standard metrics. Jaiho began. Space travel capability, energy technology, weapons development. By those measures, humans appeared primitive. He touched his pad, and new images appeared. Human quantum devices, their gravity drive, and other innovations. What I failed to see, Jaiho admitted, is that humans do not develop technology in the linear path we expect. They make unexpected jumps and connections. He showed a chart with a straight line representing normal species development, then added a zigzag line for humans. I now believe humans advance through what I call lateral thinking. They approach problems from unusual angles. They make creative leaps that our logical, step-by-step methods miss. Counselor Bach stood up. This is concerning. Unpredictable development is dangerous. I propose we classify humans as Class X and implement containment protocols. Murmurs of agreement spread through some sections of the chamber. Sung Min quickly rose to speak. Containment? That would be a terrible mistake. Humans have shown nothing but peaceful intentions. For now, Bach countered. But what happens when they develop technologies we cannot predict or counter? What happens if they surpass us? Military advisor Su joined the debate. I studied human conflict patterns. They are dangerous, yes, but mainly to themselves. When threatened by outside forces, they become remarkably unified and even more innovative. Are you suggesting containment would backfire? Tai asked. Sue nodded. Based on their history, attempts to contain or control humans would likely accelerate their development and unify them against us. The debate continued for hours. Some council members feared human potential and argued for restrictions. Others, led by Sungmin, pushed for full acceptance and alliance. Finally, Jaiho presented his formal recommendation. Based on comprehensive analysis, I propose humans be classified as Class A, anomalous. This new classification recognizes their unique development pattern. Tai called for the vote. Those in favor of classifying humans as Class A, anomalous. The voting board lit up. Green lights slowly outnumbered red. The final count, 28 for, 22 against. The motion passes, Tai announced. Humans are now classified as Class A, anomalous with all rights and privileges thereof. When the human delegation was invited back into the chamber, Ambassador Han could feel the tension. We thank the Council for this recognition, Han said formally. Earth looks forward to peaceful exchange of knowledge and culture. As the session ended, Jun approached Dr. Kim excitedly. This is wonderful news. Now you can share your music and art with all Council worlds. Dr. Kim smiled. And we can learn from you too. That's how humans grow. By sharing ideas, even opposing ones. Sungmin watched them talk, feeling proud of his role in the vote. But across the room, he noticed Councillor Bach and several others in deep, worried conversation. The debate wasn't over. It had only changed forms. And somewhere in the Council archives, a junior researcher was about to discover something that would change everything again. High Councillor Tai was enjoying a quiet meal when his communication device beeped urgently. The special tone meant emergency. He sighed and touched the device. This is Tai. High Councillor, said a nervous voice. We've received an emergency transmission from Research Vessel *, Stellar Observer *. They've made contact with humans. Tai dropped his eating utensil. What? How? Their ship crashed on Earth. Humans rescued them. Tai felt cold fear in his stomach. Call an emergency council meeting. Now. 2 hours later, the council chamber was filled with concerned voices. All 50 members had rushed to attend, a rare occurrence. High Councillor Tai called for silence. We face a serious situation, Tai announced. Our research team has made contact with humans, a Class D primitive species. Gasps and murmurs filled the room. Breaking the non-contact rule with primitive species was a grave matter. How did this happen? Demanded Councillor Bach. Their ship crashed, Tai explained. But that's not the worst part. He nodded to an aide who activated the main screen. Captain Hyun's face appeared, looking tired but urgent. High Council, Hyun said, I must report that humans have been severely misclassified. They are far more advanced than we believed. The council chamber grew silent. Hyun continued, they have working quantum entanglement communication. They repaired our drive with improved parts. Their technological approach is unlike anything in our records. Tai cut the playback. There's more, but you understand the problem. Young Sungmin, who had questioned the human classification before, stood up. I suggest we review Jaiho's full data transmission. The xenobiologist has sent extensive documentation. The council viewed Jaiho's recordings. They watched humans casually use technology that some council races still struggled with. They saw humans solve complex problems with simple, elegant solutions that council scientists had never considered. This is impossible, whispered Councillor Bach. They're supposed to be primitive. Sungmin accessed his datapad. Our classification system is based on a linear path of technological development. But humans don't follow that path. They jump around, making breakthroughs in unexpected areas. He displayed a chart comparing human development to other species. The human line zigzagged wildly while other species followed predictable upward curves. Based on their problem-solving abilities and technological innovation, Sung Min concluded humans might actually qualify as Class A. The room erupted in shocked voices. Class A. Impossible. They haven't even colonized their solar system. They still fight wars among themselves. Tai raised his hands for silence. We must decide quickly. Captain Hyun reports that Earth governments are already aware of first contact. They are demanding official recognition. Can we contain this? Asked a military counselor. Perhaps remove the witnesses. Sung Min looked horrified. There are over 7 billion humans. Their global communication network has already spread the news. Containment is impossible. Tae rubbed his temples, feeling a headache coming. Then we must adapt. I propose we send an official delegation to Earth. We will assess the situation directly. And if humans are truly advanced? Asked Bach. What then? Ta had no good answer. The Council's entire system of species classification was at risk. If humans had been so badly misclassified, what other mistakes had they made? We vote, Ta finally said. Who supports sending an official delegation to Earth? Lights began to glow on the voting board. Slowly at first, then faster as council members realized they had no choice. The vote was unanimous. Prepare our fastest diplomatic vessel, Tae ordered. And someone find Sung Min. He questioned the original classification. He should join the delegation. As the council members left, many looked worried. Their orderly galaxy had suddenly become much more complicated, and somewhere on Earth, humans were waiting. 3 months after the council meeting, the research ship Stellar Observer flew through the darkness of space. Captain Hyun stood on the bridge, looking at the blue planet on the main screen. Maintain distance, Hyun ordered. Remember, we observe only. No contact with the primitives. The ship's engines hummed softly as they moved into Earth's orbit. The crew of 12 had done this many times before. They would study humans from a safe distance, collect data, then leave. Simple work. Captain, called Nav Officer Lee, I'm getting strange readings from the drive core. Hyun frowned and moved to Lee's station. The screen showed flashing red warnings. The quantum stabilizer is failing, Lee said, her voice rising with worry. That's impossible, Hyun replied. It was just replaced at. A loud bang shook the ship. Alarms blared. The lights flickered. We're losing altitude, Lee shouted. Hyun grabbed the communication panel. All crew, emergency positions. Prepare for crash landing. The Stellar Observer fell toward Earth, trailing smoke and debris. The ship's computer picked the least populated landing zone, a frozen wasteland near the planet's south pole. The ship crashed hard onto the ice. Metal tore. Systems failed. Cold air rushed in through broken walls. In the damaged bridge, Hyun pulled himself up from the floor. Blood trickled from a cut on his face. Status report, he called out weakly. Lee checked her broken console. Drive core destroyed. Communications offline. Life support failing. Hyun felt a cold deeper than the ice outside. They were stranded on a primitive world. This was a disaster. Listen carefully, Hyun told the surviving crew. We must avoid contact with humans at all costs. Council rules are clear. We wait for rescue. But the universe had other plans. 5 kilometers away, at a human research station, alarms were also ringing. Dr. Kim looked up from her microscope. What's happening? Her colleague, Park, checked the station's radar system. Something crashed on the ice. It's big, and it's not one of ours. Dr. Kim grabbed her coat. Get the snow vehicles ready. If it's a plane crash, there could be survivors. 20 minutes later, 3 large vehicles moved across the ice toward the crash site. Dr. Kim led the rescue team of 6 scientists and a medic. What they found changed everything. The Stellar Observer wasn't a plane. Its strange metal hull shimmered even in the dim Antarctic light. It was clearly not made by human hands. My God, Dr. Kim whispered. It's a spaceship. Park finished her sentence, his voice filled with awe. Inside the damaged vessel, Hyun heard the human vehicles approaching. Hide everything, he ordered. Remember your training. No contact. But the temperature was dropping fast as life support failed. 2 crew members were badly injured. Without help, they would die. When Dr. Kim and her team cut through the twisted metal door, they found beings not so different from themselves. 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 legs, but with silver skin and strange markings. Captain Hyun stood shakily, facing the humans. His translator device still worked. I am Captain Hyun of the Galactic Council, he said, his voice tight with tension. We mean no harm. Dr. Kim stepped forward slowly, her hands raised to show she was unarmed. I'm Dr. Kim from Earth Research Station 6, she replied calmly. You're injured. We can help. Hyun hesitated. Council rules forbade contact with primitive species, but his crew was dying. The choice was impossible. Our injured need medical attention, Hyun finally said. Dr. Kim nodded and gestured to the medic. We'll help. Then we have a lot to talk about, Captain. As the humans moved carefully among them, offering help with simple kindness, Hyun realized with growing dread. The Council's careful plans had just been shattered. First contact had happened in the worst possible way, and he would have to explain it all.